Our next question today is from Lindsay. Lindsay says, one of the things that has been holding me back is concern about legal issues. So I have two parts to this question. Number one, how do you protect yourself from concerns over copyright issues? If a course offers advice that is similar to other information someone puts out in a book, for instance, can the person sue you for copyright infringement? I'm obviously not copying someone else, but there are times where my advice may parallel another person's advice. So, how similar is too similar? Also, I have trademarked my business name and submitted my ebook for copyright, but I'm wondering what other legal issues I may need to consider. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, copyright is happens as soon as you release something. Like it's just automatic.
You don't have to apply for
you don't have to apply for
anything.
anything. Now, trademark you do, which is good that you've already done that. That's fine. We own a couple trademarks ourselves to protect our brand. We had like a little issue. HGTV was using some of our lingo, and like we made sure we filed for trademarks and stuff to protect that. So, that's good. But copyright, if you write a book, it's copyright protected. Like anything that's created is copyright
The
protected.
minute it comes out of your mouth
Yeah.
or that you write it, it
It's
is
protected.
protected.
There's no like applying for it. I'm sure there's people online that tell you like they need to apply something, but don't worry about that. But like, as for worrying about you copying someone else, as long as you're not copying someone else, just do it. Like all information is known by somebody. You know, I'm pretty sure every textbook in America says Abraham Lincoln is the 16th president, just like our lesson plans do. But that doesn't matter, right? Even if you're teaching something that someone else knows, there's a thing called free. What's it called? Fair use. There's a thing called fair use, where information that's out there in the public and the general knowledge can be packaged in different ways. So, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to tell you never to worry about anything, but just write some terms and conditions and go make your content. As long as you're not copying someone, as long as you're not trying to be similar to someone and violate their trademarks and violate the way they're doing things, just be you, just do your thing. Nothing out there is not being taught by somebody else in some way. Like, I don't care what niche you're in. I don't care what subject you're in. You may think that you're the only person that's ever done it in a certain way, but somebody's probably done it the same way you're doing it. The difference is your personality. The difference is your organization. The difference is your curation. The difference is your style. And that's you. And they can't copy that. So, we hear this fear a lot. We worried about it a lot. But I assure you that the copyright ninja of the planet, Jocelyn over here, who really always worries about, because she was a librarian. That was a big issue. We don't want to copy anybody on anything. But there's nothing new under the sun, and you can just package it up and present it, and just don't copy people, and you're fine.
So what I've always done, like on lesson plans, on materials, I mean, there are no lesson plans that haven't been done in some form or fashion. Basically, it's just the same type of information. You're just putting a little bit of spin on it. So what I would do is I would just always use things as a model. So I would look up some type of worksheet, and maybe that particular piece of work was on the presidents, and instead I would do it on the states of the United States. I just change it a little bit to make it my own. So just be cautious. Don't directly copy someone, but if you're using something as a guideline, as a model, and putting your own spin on it.
I think people get confused between plagiarizing and copyright. Okay, like, copyright is really not that big a deal. Like, you go out and make your own thing. You don't try to, but like you said, information is generally available in certain things. It's like if you teach someone how to fix a Ford truck, like the engine works a certain way. If you do a YouTube video that shows someone how to change the oil on a Ford truck, and someone else has already done a video on how to change the oil on a Ford truck, that's not copyright. It's copyright that they did the video and that they did it their own thing, but that's
so
not
if you posted their video and said this is my video, then yes, that's a violation.
That's a violation, like, because you're stealing something from someone else.
If you transcribed their exact video and presented it in the exact way they presented it
as an ebook, that would be plagiarizing, right? That's where people get in trouble. That's what's bad. That's stealing. But like, if you teach the same thing, like if I teach you how to swim, well, the United States Lifeguard Association doesn't have a patented way to teach people how to swim or whatever. They might write a book that would be copyright protected, so you can't just go write it word for word and steal their pictures. Okay. Or they did the work to take the pictures, so you may have to go take new pictures. But there's a difference in plagiarizing and copywriting, right? So, don't get too caught up into this, guys. And here's the deal. Even in everything you ever create, if it ever became an issue and someone said, hey, this isn't a direct copy, this looks like a direct copy of what I did, Well, just take it down and do something else like that. Deal with these problems when they show up, and be precautious and don't steal things. And they'll probably never. I've never heard of anyone that this is a problem with in our entire business. So, just
And
do
if
your
something
thing. Do
does
your
come
thing.
up, just deal with it when it comes up.
That's right.
Most
Don't
of the
invent ghosts.
time, people are not going to spend the time and energy to fight a small business over something.
It's hard enough to create a successful online business and run it on a day-to-day basis without thinking of every contingency of everything that could ever go wrong, period, ever. Right? Like, and I feel like we're really kind of leaning into that territory here of worrying about every word that comes out of your lips or your fingertips is going to be copyright violated by somebody else. But you're not really doing that. You're not really doing anything like that. So you got your trademarks, write your stuff. And if it ever becomes a problem, deal with it. It's probably not going to become a problem.
Yeah, Tanya says, I often add derived from blank. I've done the same thing. So on some of my worksheets, I might say modeled after this, or
You can cite things like with actual like MLA citation. Is it MLA? Is that what it's called? I can't remember. It's been a long time.
yeah, like APA.
APA and all that stuff. Like, you can cite things if you want to help you, make sure you give credit where credit is due. But usually things you create is just things you create. So create it. Don't copy and you'll be fine.